everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a nice little book video to share with you where I'm going to run through my January reads and my February hopefuls. So it's quite an exciting video. I managed to read 7 books in January, which is one above the goal that I was hoping for, because my goal for the year is 80 books and that averaged out at about 6 books a month, maybe just a little bit over. So I'm happy with my January reading month. But before we get into the video, I would love to hear what you guys read in January or are hoping to read in February. So please do share those in the comments. And if you want to see more book stuff on a regular basis, then my Instagram and TikTok will be linked in the description, because I post way more on there than I do on YouTube, just because it's easier to edit and film and stuff for short form content. So there we go. Anyway, so let's just dive straight in. So I'm going to start with my January reads first. So like I said, I read 6 in January and I have got my laptop here to tell you what I rated each one, as the ratings go out of my head immediately. But the first one I want to mention is The Love Interest, and I actually read this on my Kindle, and this was an ARC from NetGalley and from Boldwood Books. So this is coming out February 12th, so very soon. So I would definitely give it a read. I highly recommend. I think I gave this, let me just check. Yes, so I gave this 4 stars. It was a really cute story. There was lots of hints to other romantic films and books, and just the little hints and details throughout the book was so adorable. The gist of the story is that the main character, Olivia, is looking to write a romance novel, and her brother's best friend comes to town, ends up working at the same place as her, and they literally hate each other, and yeah, she's looking for a love interest, and her friend says he would be a brilliant love interest for your book, and that's kind of the gist of the story. So I won't say too much else because I don't want to ruin it, but I would give it a read. It's highly recommended and very adorable, and the front cover is pink and yellow and really cute, and obviously you can't see that on the Kindle, but I've seen the front cover and it's adorable, so definitely give that a read. The book I don't have here right now but I did read was Lovelight Farms, and that was the first book that I read in January, as I started it in December, didn't get to finish it, and then it carried into January, and that was the first book that I read this year, and it was 5 stars. So started off the year great with a great book. It's like a friends to lovers romance, and yeah, I'm sure you've heard of it because loads of people have read it, but I gave that 5 stars, and I do recommend. Really quick read, really cute. It's not too Christmassy, so you don't have to read it in the Christmas period. It does obviously have Christmas hints in there. It is set on a Christmas tree farm, but it isn't overly Christmassy as in the story. The next one that I read was a book that's quite recently come out, and that is Matching All the Way by Verionica Eden. This is like again, brother's best friend, and a hockey romance, but he's like a hockey coach rather than a hockey player. He comes back into town. It's like a small town romance type thing. I did enjoy the start of the book, but then I felt like it just kind of went on for a little bit too long, so this one ended up being a 3-star read for me. Other people might enjoy it. There is quite a lot of spice in this book, so if you're not that type of reader, don't read it. It was even a little bit much for me, and that's saying something. So yeah, I was just a bit like, a little bit much, made me cringe in some places, but that was just my personal preference, so don't let that put you off from reading it, but it was a 3-star read. The next one that I read was one that was highly awaited, and I had so much FOMO that other people were reading it, and that is Check and Mate by Hazelwood, and I rated this 4 stars. I wanted there to be a little bit more romance going on in the book than there was, but it was still super enjoyable. The storyline is like a lot of chess, so just bear that in mind, but I thought I wouldn't like it, but I actually really enjoyed the chess parts of it. It was like quite, what's the word, like, I don't want to say like actiony because it's obviously like chess, but there's like build up in there. It builds a bit of tension in the story, and it was super adorable. The bits of romance that were in there were really cute, and like the little hints and stuff, but yeah, there's not an overly massive amount of romance, so if you're expecting that to be this, it's not. But if you like Ali Hazelwood's writing, you're gonna like this book. So yeah, 4 stars. Next book that I read was What Happens After Midnight, by K.L. Walther, and that's the same author as The Summer of Broken Rules. I kind of thought this would be a similar thing, but it wasn't. So this was actually a 3-star read for me, whereas I adored The Summer of Broken Rules. I think I rated it 4 stars at the time. I might actually revise that to a 5-star, to be honest. Some days it's 4, some days it's a 5. But yeah, this was a 3-starer. It's kind of like, it's set on a school campus and they're doing the end of year prank, that sort of thing. There's a bit of tension in there because they're trying not to get caught and things like that, and the main character ends up having to do this prank with her ex-boyfriend as well as other people, so that's also in the mix. But yeah, towards the end I was kind of like, wrap it up now. Literally, like, I enjoyed majority of the book, but at the end you're like waiting for something, and it's kind of like that bit could have been a little bit quicker, but other than that, highly enjoyed it. And yeah, the like little hints and stuff and the little nicknames they have for each other was adorable, so I did enjoy it, but not my favourite. I think I just had high hopes because of The Summer of Broken Rules. I think that's where I went wrong. Then the next one that I read was Mile High, which is the first book in the Windy City series, which is a series that I want to finish this year, but I only have this one. And again, this was a 3-starer. There's been a lot of 3 stars this month. It was okay. I enjoyed the ice hockey aspect, as I really enjoy ice hockey anyway, but again, it just felt a little bit long. Like, it's 500 and something pages, and for a romance I feel like it doesn't need to be that long. The only kind of romancy type stories that I would read are that long are the Magnolia Park series. So yeah, I just think it could have been a little bit shorter. But other than that, I really enjoyed the storyline. Again, I liked the ice hockey aspect to it, and I liked the forbidden romance type of thing. But yeah, 3 stars overall, but people have said that this is not their favourite one in the series anyway, and to continue reading it, so I am going to do that, and I will find the other books in the series and purchase them at some point this year. Then the last book that I read in January holds a very special place in my heart now, and that is When in Rome. This has been sitting on my bookshelf for so long, and I'm not sure why I left it there for that long, because my god was it adorable. It was such a quick read. I had a sick day this week because I wasn't feeling very well and literally binged most of the book. It was just fantastic. That is the only word that I can choose. So she is a pop star and she's kind of like burnt out, looking for a break, wants to go to Rome, but obviously Rome's a little bit far to be going to take a break when she's got a tour coming up, so she goes to Rome, Kentucky, which is closer, and there she meets a grumpy pie shop owner called Noah, and it is adorable and you should read. And yeah, I also love the Audrey Hepburn references in here because she is a girl after my own heart. But yeah, definitely read this. This was a 4-starer. I don't know why I didn't rate it 5 stars, but you know, you just don't get that 5-star feeling. I feel like some days it could be a 5-star or some days a 4-star, but I settled on 4. Yeah, as I felt like towards, they don't, I'm gonna try and explain this without ruining it. Obviously, like, you see a lot of scenes with the characters together, but at the end I just felt the ending was slightly rushed, only a little bit. Obviously I don't like dragged out endings, but this was like couple of pages and everything sorted, so yeah, I was a bit like that could have been a little bit longer, but I did enjoy overall, and it's so adorable and I'll think about this constantly. Okay, now I'm going to get into my February hopefuls for the month. Now I have picked 5 books because one thing I'm taking into account when picking my hopefuls now is like book releases coming out, and the fact that I read certain books for reading vlogs now. So like those books sitting up there in this little basket are going to be read in February because it's for another video that I'm filming, but they're not in my February hopefuls, if that makes sense. So I picked 5. However, there is a book coming out this month as well, which I'll mention in a minute, but I kind of want to read that one too, but we'll see. That might run into March. Anyway, so the first book that I want to read in February is Yours Truly. This has been on my TBR and sitting on my shelf for a while, and I'm jealous that other people have read it and have said it's so good. I keep hearing great things about it, so I just want to get around to reading it because I've got FOMO and I just want to read it and experience it and be in the loop with everyone else. Yeah, I feel like this, I think it's a workplace romance. I mean, the cover kind of gives that gist. I don't want to read too much about it because I want to be like surprised when I go in there. The next one is one that's come out quite recently, but again, heard really good things about it, like straight off the bat, and that is Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. It's part of the Lakefront Billionaire series, which this is book 1, so the books have only just started coming out, but I believe there is another one due to come out either this year or next year. I think it might be later this year. And I think the gist of the story is they've known each other since childhood, but they actually don't like each other. I don't know if something happened, and then like I believe he comes back to town, and yeah, that sort of gist. But again, heard really good things about it. I've heard the romance and like the bantery kind of stuff in here is really good, so looking forward to that. Next one is part of a series that I need to finish and that is Powerless in the Chestnut Spring series. So I don't like to force myself to read too much of a series in one go, so I read like Flawless ages ago, read Heartless in August last year, and now I'm like, right, I really need to finish this series. So yeah, and I love a hockey romance, and this is a hockey romance and a small town romance and all that jazz. So I am looking forward to reading this one. I've heard such good things about it. I know I'm saying that about every book, but would I really read one if I'd heard horrible things about it? Probably not. And the last 2 books on my February TBR are the last books in the Magnolia Park series. So as you probably know, if you're a lover of books and Magnolia Parks, that Magnolia Parks Into the Dark is coming out this month on February 13th. I have pre-ordered it. It's on its way as soon as it's released. So I want to kind of kickstart this series, like finishing this series. What I might do to kind of like break it up is like read one of these, then read another book in my TBR, because like I said, I really struggle reading a series after another. I don't know what it is. I think I just get a bit like in a slump about it. I'm not sure if that's just me. I just feel like it seems like such a big challenge when you try and read a whole series. So I'm going to try and break it down and do a book at a time rather than just throw myself in there. However, I want to read Into the Dark as soon as I possibly can, because I do not want to hear any spoilers about it. So I just feel like the way to do that is to get these ones finished. I've also been putting these off because I'm pretty sure it's going to break my heart. Those are all the books that I read in January and what I want to read in February. Thank you for watching today's video, and please tell me what you're going to be reading in February, because I might add that to my TBR later in the year, or I might try and force it into my February reading. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you super duper soon with a new video.